Okay, story time. I had a trial last week. It was a brutal case, and I want to tell you about it. Now, this was a trial, so it's all public record. The husband is accused of stabbing his wife in the chest 5 times, 3 under the armpits, 2 under the breasts, and one that went so far down that it penetrated her colon, causing all kinds of havoc. After the stabbing, she was able to get a hold of her phone and get a call made to 911 via a text to her daughter, and then a neighbor called 911 after hearing a scream. Police came out to the house but couldn't enter because there was no visible or audible disturbance, no warrant, and nobody came to the door. Now, she says my client was standing over her, threatening her, telling her she was stupid for even calling the police and saying all kinds of horrible things, and that in response to the police coming and going, he then put her on a dog leash and dragged her downstairs, bashed her face, her teeth first, into a stair, then took her down into the bathroom and hit her head on the toilet so many times that she lost consciousness, at which point he left her on the cold bathroom floor until she begged after a day to be taken upstairs to be in a bed where she could be more comfortable. This is all the things that she claimed happened. Now, his story was different, but I'm telling you her version because that's what we had to fight at trial. Now, then she claims that he stitched her wounds up. He's not a doctor or nurse, no medical training. He stitched her wounds up with household sewing kit type stuff, a needle and a thread. In fact, the blood evidence included a needle and thread that had blood on them. There was a knife. There was all the stuff that was used to dress and bandage her. She says she was kept there for 9 days. She claims she was dehydrated and not fed, and he was abusing her and, saying all kinds of horrible things to her the whole time, threatening her. He says, look, I was taking care of her. We made a mutual agreement that we didn't want to get in trouble for this, and then we would stitch up her wounds and try to heal her, and then we would both, get back to our jobs. She says 9 days after the initial stabbing that he grew angry about another text message and said, that's it, I'm done. He went and grabbed the butcher knife and slashed at her throat, at which point she instinctively blocked it and got a slash on the arm instead. And then he stitched that up, not with sewing thread, but with green yarn. So when she got out later that same day and went to the neighbors, she says she timed it so that he was off to the store. She had enough time to get over there. She hobbled out, got to the neighbors. They saw her injuries, and they called the police, and the paramedics came, and then her long medical treatment began. Then the claim is that when he realized she was out, that he fled to another state. And in fact, they did find him in another state 2 days later with a SWAT team, a police dog, a police robot, and the SWAT team had to break out the basement windows to get an angle on him in case he had a weapon. They pulled him out and they brought him back to Texas. Now, this was years ago. I got on the case as the third attorney. When I got on the case, it was already special set for trial, which means it's going. It had been set before, got moved, then it got special set. They didn't give me any extra time, which typically you can get extra time. But the special setting, no, didn't get any extra time. So I went to the prosecutor and said, give us some kind of offer. I can take the client. He's probably going to reject it. I know you can't give a short offer based on what I've already seen, but give me something. He said, no, I'm sorry. I know you're new on the case, but I really can't give an offer. This is a horrible case. The more I learn about it and preparing, the worse it gets. So I'm just wanting to try it. 99 to life, and I can't make any offer. Ended up going to trial, shooting a bunch of holes in the kidnapping allegation. There were problems with that case, so we ended up getting a not guilty on that. But there just was a lot of evidence on the other stuff, and even though we mounted a self-defense claim, the jury didn't seem to buy that. Either they didn't think he was defending himself, or they didn't think his response was appropriate. And then there was the other problem that there were further instances later on of the impeding breath with the dog leash and the brutalization in that way, and then also the laceration to the arm. So self-defense would just cover the initial and not all that other stuff. So it was a tough case. We ended up getting a not guilty on the kidnapping and 25 years on the assault, aggravated assault, deadly weapon, which is 25 years. The minimum possible is 15. The maximum, as you know, is 99 to life. Normally on a case, if you get an offer, say they came back with 40 years, and your client can't take that. If you then go to trial and you get less than 40 years, that's called beating the recommendation. So you get a better outcome than what the state was offering if you just gave in and took a plea. When there's no offer, anything below the max is beating the rec. So 25 is way below 99. It's way below life. 99, one more year is 100. It's a fourth of that, but it's only 10 years above the minimum. In fact, a lawyer that was in the courtroom, he witnessed some of the cross-examination. He said, boy, when I heard what the testimony was, I thought this is going to be a life sentence. So 25 years feels good when you hear something like that.